Students, I'm Umesh Singh and I'm going to teach you tenses and their uses in this particular video. Tenses and their uses. Tense is a feature of the verb which shows the time at which the action takes place. Tenses are of three types: present tense, past tense and future tense. Let us discuss present tense first. As far as present tense is concerned, this one is divided into four subcategories. The first one is the simple present tense. The second one is the present continuous tense. The third one is the present perfect tense. The fourth one is the present perfect continuous tense. Now let us discuss the simple present tense first. In the simple present, the verb has two forms: the singular form, writes, works, and the plural form, write, work. Now let us consider the examples. She works hard, they play cricket, you sing well, we pray a lot, I love food, he loves his brother. Now let us analyze the first example. She works hard. Now she is the subject, works is the main verb which is in V1 form, and object. So the rule is, when the subject is singular, it will take singular verb, and when the subject is plural, it will take plural verb, as in the second example, they play cricket. Now they play cricket is in simple present tense, and here the subject is they, followed by V1 verb first form which is in plural form, followed by object. Now let us consider the formula of this tense. The formula is subject plus V1 plus object. Now let us consider some of the important uses of simple present tense. Now the first use is for future activities which are programmed, which might be related to timetables, which might be related to schedules. And the examples are: the train leaves at 4 o'clock, the exams begin next week. Now let us analyze these two examples one by one. Now in the first example, which is the train leaves at 4 o'clock, this one is indicating timetable. Means to say, this activity has not occurred as yet, but rather it is going to occur in future. And this one is a very important use of simple present tense. Now let us analyze the second example, which is the exams begin next week. Now the structure of this particular example is in simple present tense, but the idea or the meaning which is expressed by this particular sentence is something which is going to happen in future, but the structure is simple present tense. Now the second important use of this is for future meaning in time clauses. Now again, this one is very important, and the examples are: I will phone you when I come back, and the second one is: I will carry an umbrella when it rains. Now again, I will phone you. Now this one is in simple future tense, followed by the second part of the sentence, which one is when I come back. Now when I come back is in simple present tense. When I come back is in simple present tense, and again this activity will happen. The activity of phoning will happen when I come back. So obviously, again, this is a clear indication that this activity is going to happen in future. Now the next important use of simple present tense is for formal declarations. And the examples are: I declare the exhibition open, and the second one is: I declare the Asian Games open. Now this is a very important sentence structure, because when we see any kind of exhibition being opened by authority, then obviously he frames the sentence in simple present tense. Means to say, this is the only structure which can be used while declaring such activity open. So this one is a very important sentence structure. I declare the exhibition open. I declare the Asian Games open, and such kind of activity can only be done in simple present tense. Now the next important use is for past activity to make the description vivid or dramatic. This is called historical present, frequently used in newspaper headlines. Yes, and the examples are: President appoints Modi as Prime Minister, Team India wins the World Cup. Now, these two activities had already occurred in the past, but when these activities are reported in the newspaper, they are reported in simple present tense. And that is why they are called historical present. Means they are history, but they are recorded in simple present tense when the same thing is mentioned in the newspaper as headlines. So again, this one is very important. And finally, we use come from in simple present. Now, when certain questions are asked, like where do you hail from? Where do you come from? Where do you belong to? So when such type of questions are asked, the answer will be, he comes from China. I hail from China. I belong to China. Okay, so this one is again a very important use of simple present tense. It comes from China. I come from Delhi. So again, the structure of this particular sentence is simple present tense. Now, the second one is the present progressive or continuous tense. Activities which are in continuation during present time. Activities which are in continuation during present time. Again, all the activities which are happening during present time, which are in continuation during present time, are bracketed into this particular category, which is the present progressive or continuous tense. And the examples are, she is watching TV, she is watching TV, they are playing cricket and reading a book. They are playing in the field, the students are attending the classes. So all these activities are happening during present time. So they are bracketed under this category. And the formula is subject plus is slash am slash are plus v1 plus ing plus object. And it is used for future arranged or planned activities. Now, this is one of the important uses of present continuous tense. And like, I'm meeting Tom this afternoon. Now let us consider this example. I'm meeting Tom this afternoon. Now again, this activity is not happening right now, but it is going to happen in the afternoon. Again, this activity is going to happen in future, but the structure of this particular sentence is in present continuous tense. Now let us consider the second example, which is Trump is meeting Modi tomorrow morning. Now again, this activity is in continuation, but again, this is going to happen tomorrow morning and not right now. This activity is not in continuation during present time, but rather it is going to happen tomorrow morning. But we can express this idea in present continuous form. Now the third type is the present perfect tense, which is used for an activity completed at an indefinite time in the past, which has an effect on the present. Now let us analyze the definition of this. Now, the activity is completed. It has been completed in the immediate past, but the impact of that activity is felt during present time. Now the examples are, I have written the answer, he has done his job, they have eaten food. Now let us analyze the first example, which is I have written the answer. Now the activity is over. The activity has been finished and it got over in the immediate past, but its impact is felt in the present. So this one is present perfect tense, and the formula is subject plus has/have plus V3 plus object. Now, there is a very important point. There is another very important point which needs special attention. And that point is that when the subject is plural, it will take has, followed by V3, followed by object. But when the subject is singular, it will take has, followed by V3, followed by object. But when the subject is plural, it will take have, followed by V3, followed by object. So again, this one is important. But when past perfect is concerned, it will only take had, irrespective of the fact that whether the subject is singular or plural. Now let us consider the fourth one, which is the present perfect progressive tense or the present perfect continuous tense. It is used for an activity which has continued up to the present and has just stopped or may continue in the future. Now let us analyze the definition of this. Now, let us consider the first example. I have been studied for 2 hours. Means to say, this activity got started in the past, continued in the past, and up till now, it is in continuation. But whether that activity will continue in future or not, that is not decided. So, this one is present perfect continuous tense or present perfect progressive tense. Now, it has been raining all day. Again, it has been raining all day means the rain might have started in the morning and it had continued throughout the whole day, and it is still in continuation, but whether it will continue in future or not, that is not decided. So, this one is present perfect continuous tense, and the formula is subject plus has/have plus be plus V1 plus ing plus object plus for or since as required. Now I'd like to analyze for or since as well, because these two prepositions are very important when it comes to dealing with present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, and future perfect continuous tense. So as far as for is concerned, for is used for a period of time and since is used for point of time. Now when I say period of time, it means that a period of certain time. Now for instance, he has been working for 2 hours. So that 2 hours is a duration of a particular period. So for that period, we use for. Now, if I say the school has been into existence since 1975. So this 1975 is a point of time, exact time. And since then, the institution has been into existence. So since morning, since evening, since noon, since 1975, since time immemorial. So these are some of the important uses of since. And as far as for is concerned, for 5 hours, for 2 hours, for a month, for a year, for a century, for a week, for 5 years, etc. Good job. Okay, as far as past tense and future tenses are concerned, it will be dealt in the next videos. So please wait for the next videos. Until then, goodbye. Take care of yourself. Stay home. Stay safe.